solar system series known as Y, where we talk about the coldest sign in this ecliptic known as Scorpio. Now, to understand why Scorpio is this way, you need to know where Scorpio came from. First things first, Scorpio is fixed water, being fixated on your own way of feeling and adding emotion to things. And you ever wondered why people say, damn, that person is cold as an ice cube? They were probably a Scorpio. They were so deep, so dark, that they didn't share their emotions whatsoever because they probably feel that others couldn't handle it. Now, before we get sidetracked, let's explain where Scorpio came from and why it is the way it is. So, Scorpio was born from the 8th house. The 8th house is the life situation of anything you're unaware of in general. It's not that scary, it's just occult things behind closed doors, and as I mentioned, anything and everything that you are unaware of in general. Now, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, the planet of passion, willpower, aggression, motivation, intent, and basically any emotion that gets your ass up off the couch and actually doing something. Scorpio is also co-ruled by Pluto. To understand Pluto's influence, which is basically the power to change, you need to understand Mars, because Pluto is Mars multiplied to whatever degree you want above 10. It's so intense that it puts you through a transformation experience that will either give birth to something or kill something off. But that's kind of a conundrum right there, because to create the space for birth, you need to kill something off. Now, Scorpio is also away in Earth as well as Venus. Earth is the vibration of growth, structuring, nurturing, and if you want to really understand Earth, just throw a seed on the ground and watch a plant grow, and that's the vibration of Earth in a nutshell. Now, it's also away in Venus, as I mentioned. Venus is the planet of love, appreciation, values, as well as how you relate to others. Now, to move to the worst placement for Scorpio, we have the moon. The moon is your mind, your reactions, how you respond to things, as well as your emotional state. And these are the basic planets, houses, and elements, as well as modalities that break down the archetype of this fixed water sign. As for Jupiter, though, this is a very kind of sort of entrapment type of placement for Jupiter. It doesn't really go great with Scorpio, although it kind of enjoys it at first, but for diminishing returns. Anyways, let's talk about Jupiter a little bit. So, what is Jupiter? Jupiter is the planet of expansion through experience. It's basically just once you run down the gauntlet of all of your alignments and you actually get something that you want to stick with, this is where you just dive into it regardless. This is that planet that sort of rules over where people are just binging on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where you just like, oh, he did this, he did what? Season 2 got crazy, and then you kind of just quit halfway through. But you still watch all of those seasons all the way through in a night, possibly, In a nutshell, this planet can be best explained for the current situations by binging on Netflix. It's just expanding and diving in as far as you can go. Anyways, with this being placed in Scorpio, this is a very kind of gotcha bitch placement, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to remember, Scorpio is a stay down until you come up type of placement that really fears the unknown, and Jupiter is all about just liking an experience and diving into it regardless, going through it, just seeing what's going to happen, Scorpio can't really do that. It really hates to do that, You can sort of imagine, if you can imagine it's two signs that trine this placement, which are Pisces as well as Cancer, these signs both do phenomenal. One's ruled in Jupiter, one is exalted in Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? So when Scorpio comes around, Scorpio is sort of like the begrudging sibling that sort of just is envious of them. And while they're working on expanding and growing their own abilities, Scorpio kind of just sits there, and the only thing it grows is its ability to brood and its ability to just hate on Cancer and Pisces while they're trying to lift this motherfucker up and teach them what it needs to do. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio, when it expands, it goes into something, it fixates on something and it expands a little bit because, you know, it's like an ice cube, and ice does, you know, it expands the water a little bit, but then it just sits and it's like a structure form, and you can't expand in that at all, you know. So it's sort of just like Scorpio found its little niche. It's okay with it, it's enjoying it, but then it starts to hate on it and sort of brew and just be like, damn, why am I stuck here? Why can't I just act? Why can't I just go through this, you know? But it sort of just glosses over the fact that they sort of fear the unknown more than they actually fear staying where they are, you know what I'm saying? The Jupiter and Scorpio horse will be the first one to tell you that it's better the enemy you know than the one you don't. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, what the benefit of this is that when Scorpios do fixate and they kind of just get their building blocks of expansion, they sort of just kind of build. This is where the stay down till you come up type of thing sort of pops off for Scorpio. Because they've built, that by the time they're ready, it's sort of like an instant level up. And you'll sort of see these people as like, they'll be innocent, you think they won't know much, they don't have much wisdom. It's like, Jupiter and Scorpio people are definitely not the type of people that have quote unquote been here before, even if they may. These people just focus on what they need to focus on for a long time, even more than they want to, you know? But then by the time they're ready, they know something and they are wise in that subject, and they know that subject very well because they've sat in it. Both of the signs that trine them, you know, Cancer and Pisces, will be probably telling them the whole time that they can't exactly go what they're, you know, just go the way they're going about doing things over and over again, because if they just actually manned up and sort of just tried the subject that they were going about doing, they may have, you know, figured it out a lot quicker. They may have done it a lot better. Do you get what I'm saying here? Now, to sum this point up real quick, you can just basically break this down in a, you know, one of the Avatar Iroh quotes, you know what I'm saying? And what these Jupiter and Scorpio people need to learn the most is that when you're drawing wisdom, you need to draw it from many sources, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't get your wisdom from here, and you just get it from yourself, you're really just focusing on your own space and your own experience. And if Scorpio limits your ability to just go out and experience, your sense of wisdom will become rigid and stale. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just won't have any ability to really draw on something outside of your own consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And if you're afraid of like expanding into different thoughts and expanding into different feelings and just going about experience outside of yourself, then, like I said, it's going to be rigid and stale. You know what I'm saying? Now, the good part here is that what you do expand into is the transformation process itself. So eventually, or not, I don't want to exactly say hopefully, but I intend that if you see this video, that you will know, you will eventually see this in yourself if this is your sign, and you will begin to know that you have gone through a transformation through and not expanded. You've gone through a transformation, you expand into transformation so goddamn much that eventually you'll know when it's wise to just rip the band-aid off and hop into something when you are getting those feelings of, it's getting cold, I don't exactly want to do something, you know? Because you know more than anyone what it's like to just say fuck it and let something slide. You know what I'm saying? You just sit there, you know? If you can imagine like a freaking, I know I freaking like to beat a dead horse with this example of the freaking book report presentation, but you beat a dead horse too, so bear with me. Now, you probably would be the type of person to not want to go up front at all. You just don't want to go from in front at all. You don't want to get up, raise your hand. Mrs. Smith, can I go first? You don't want to do that whatsoever. You're going to make up excuses. You're going to just be like, fuck it, nah, I'm sick today. Mom, you know, put the freaking thermometer in the lamp real quick. 101, can't do my book report today. You know, like, this is just something that you might expand into, for example. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, you'll be in grade 1, I don't want to do it. Grade 2, I'm pushing this off. Grade 3, maybe I'll start a little early, and then something bad happens, so you're afraid to do it for a while, and then you push it all the way up to grade 7, and you're just like, nah. But then at some point, you should just realize that it's not better to sit in fear of expanding into a new experience. You may cross your T's and dot your I's and everything in order and just not even go with it at all. You'll avoid doing it at all. And you know you have your book report down. You know you're going to say this shit good. And you know you're going to be wildly amazing with it, even though you absorb everybody's feelings of how you're going about the situation. You know what I'm saying? And at some point, you just need to learn that some situations that you do understand well, it's just better to rip the Band-Aid off. Because, or else, you will just basically be admitting that you like this pain. You know what I'm saying? But I'm getting in a whole rant here, and maybe I should just make a whole comic book about these stupid situations. But aside from that, let's run down the planets. So, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. It's co-ruled by Pluto. It is away in Venus and Earth, and you know goddamn well that it hates the fucking moon. It wants to just go to sleep, die, and keep it moving. Anyways, thanks for following the solar system series known as Why, where we talk about the coldest sign in this ecliptic, Scorpio.